Did the knights do this? Did we do this? I'm lost. I'm sufficiently... They have got me. I'm so confused. We're going to see our young self and the time's going to explode. Gemma's gonna die. This dog's gonna turn into a dragon. Our hair is gonna grow 10 times longer, turn blue. Our dad's going to be eternally disappointed in us. Our carrot cake's still going to be as dumb as bricks. Yep, there's Child Tunks and potentially Tunks' dad. What?
Hey, Grandad, can I borrow your ladder?
What the fuck?
The wind blew Gemma's scarf off and now it's stuck up a tree.
Well, we can't be having that now, can we? Let me go and find it for you.
Oh, it happened when we went through the forest. Wasn't there something about the forest being really weird and like people not coming back? Oh, that's what happened.
We don't need the ladder anymore. That nice man over there got my headscarf down for me. He said he was looking for you. Is he a friend of yours?
Nope. I've never even seen him before.
I think it might be me he's looking for, you know. Why don't you two run along and play and leave us grown-ups to talk?
All right.
Well. It's you, isn't it? I knew it. I've known you since you were a baby after all. I knew it was you right away. But you don't look too happy, my lad. Care to tell your old Grandad what's on your mind?
Tunks tells Chalky everything that's happened since he left for Cobblestone. Or left Cobblestone.
I see. So, you're from a future where I'm no longer around. Well.
Oh my god! Oh my god, we're future Tunks! I didn't even mean to do that. I had no idea there was time travel in the game. I mean, obviously we look like Trunks, which is kind of the point. What? The joke, it goes deeper. I didn't even mean to do this. It just happened. Oh, that's great. Woo.
And King Carnelian went and threw you in the dungeon? And to think I trusted that he'd do right by you. If I'd known how things were going to turn out, I would have told you everything, instead of hiding the truth from you for all those years. But you don't have time to be listening to an old man's regrets. Here's what we're going to do. If you head east out of the village, you'll come to Cobblestone Falls, as you know. Go there and dig in front of the three-sided rock. Got that? The three-sided rock at Cobblestone Falls. You'll know the one I mean. Oh, but what a fine figure of a man you've become. I'm so glad I got to see you all grown up. You be good now, lad. Don't waste your time bearing grudges. Live life with love in your heart. Always saw me right. Bye now.
So, either we can see into the past, we're a time traveler, wait. Now here's the question. Are we back in the present?
Huh. Thanks for getting Gemma's headscarf back for her. Come back and play anytime you like. It's ages till I gotta go home. What should we play now?
Well, we could play, hide and seek.
Wait, oh no.
Are you okay? I lost you for a minute there. Not surprising, I guess. I can't believe they do this. And just because you grew up here? What kind of animals are they? Jasper and his goons must have ridden straight here after you got thrown in the dungeons and torched the place. Hey, just now, when you zoned out, the mark on your hand was glowing, and so was the root wrapped around that tree. Was it another one of those visions?
Tunks tells Eric all about what he saw on the Cobblestone of the past. Just kidding, he's still mute.
Wow. So you went back in time and spoke with your granddad and yourself? That is seriously weird. Must have been the root here. It must have the power to show you the past. Well, if what your granddad told you was right, then we need to head over to Cobblestone Falls. Where did you say it was? East of the village? Listen, I know this can't be easy, but hanging around here isn't going to do anybody any good. Come on.
You wonder you needed to do a British accent for Tunks. Why? Tunks is mute. Doesn't say a word. Ever. He speaks only in recaps. I'm a traveling priest. I heard a terrible rumor that this village was to be razed to the ground and rushed from Heliodor to try and reason with the troops. Alas, seems I was too late. King Carnelian ordered the entire place be destroyed for its role in raising the accursed Darkspawn. Do the people of Cobblestone really deserve this? Seeing such terrible devastation. Wonder wonders who the real sinners are. At least the troops did not destroy the church. That's something. Inside you'll find a bed, where a traveler may rest his weary bones. Now, things may look bleak. One may still find the comfort in age-old rituals. Okay, so we don't want to do this. Okay, so Cobblestone Tor, no. I don't actually know which direction is to the falls. Unless, like, these are the falls. But no, east? Nah. It's definitely not in this town. Unless we actually follow the river. No, there's a barricade over it. Okay, well that's not happening. I wasn't sure if that was going to be an entrance or exit. But it doesn't look like that's the case. So is everyone dead? I mean, you don't see any bodies. Could just be that everybody's dead. You know, I really want to play a JRPG like that someday. Like, you know how they always have the, like, classic, you know, your hometown gets burned to the ground or whatever to kind of really cut you loose into the world. I want one where the, where the protagonist actually, like, kind of loses it a little bit. Like, have there been any where, like, they really play up the avenging anti-hero trope? I know there's kind of like Tales of Berseria, which kind of does. I mean, I'm assuming this is the right direction. No, that's the Mangle Grove. Maybe we want to go to the other direction. Oh, there's certainly a lot of them. Because yeah, there's not a whole lot of JRPGs that immediately start with the main character going kind of ballistic. Maybe not ballistic is the right word, but still. I guess kind of in the same vein. Was it? Legend of the Dragoon, I think, had something kind of like that. Because you pretty much immediately went on like this crazy prison raid to rescue your childhood friend or something like that. If I recall correctly. Now, how far in am I? I am, what do we think? 4 or 5 hours? I'm not actually that far in this game. Yep, Emerald Coast, Cobblestone Falls. We're in the right zone. We're more or less really just getting underway. I would have been moving faster, but the first night I was recording this, I was in a completely different state, on a completely different setup, and I was like, I don't really want to record this with kind of a bad setup, so I mostly just ran around fighting monsters. There's something about, oh yeah, three-sided rock. There's something just about fighting monsters in Dragon Quest games that's intensely satisfying.
Letters, huh? The top one there's seen better days, that's for sure.
My dearest, darling baby boy, when finally you come to read this, I will almost certainly be long dead. You see, not long after you were born, our beloved kingdom of Dundrasil was attacked by an army of monsters. I was forced to flee with you in my arms, and expended the last of my strength in ensuring that you escaped to safety. If you are fortunate enough to have been found by some kindly soul, you must seek out the King of Heliodor when you come of age. Our kingdom and his have long enjoyed close relations, and your father and I would trust him with our lives. Never forget, my son, you are a prince of the kingdom of Dundrasil. But more than that, you are the luminary. Yours is a weighty burden indeed. It is you who must stand against the darkness and banish it from our world. In time, you will come to understand. It breaks my heart to leave you, my darling. But it is the only way. I only hope that one day you will learn to forgive me.
It's from someone important to you, right? Your mother or something? Don't worry, you can tell me about it later. What about the other one?
To my dearest grandson. I haven't the foggiest how you managed it, but I met your future self today. As promised, I've buried some things here that will help you on your way. Have you read your mother's letter yet? It was in your basket with you when I first found you. It was because of that letter that I asked my Amber to send you to see the king when the time came. I only wish I'd known how things would turn out. I don't know why Dundrasil was attacked, or why King Carnelian thinks so badly of you. I'm just an ignorant old man from a little village in the country. But I do know that the answers are out there somewhere. The keystone in this box will open the door of departure off to the east. You must go out into the world and seek the truth. Remember now, don't waste your time bearing grudges, and live life with love in your heart. All the best, now and forever. Grandad.
Tunks acquires the keystone. So we really did time travel.
So we used the keystone to open the door of departure and head out into the world, huh? Well, sounds easy enough. You better believe I'm coming with you. You said it was just east of here, right? Well, what are we waiting for? Oh, I know what we're waiting for. I've got some unfinished business to attend to. The orb. The Kingsbarrow not too far from here. Just down the way, in fact. Let's go claim what's rightfully mine.
So apparently the Japanese version of this game actually doesn't have voice acting at all. I was kind of surprised when I first found that one out. Maybe a little bit pleased. No, I'm just pleased that we got voice acting. The voice acting for this, like, I know some people are like, "Mrrr," I didn't like it. I really like the voice acting for this game. It's charming. The grandfather nailed it. Like, they really got the whole, like, you know, loving patriarch feel, I guess. And, like, I really enjoyed, I really enjoy, you know, when he comes on, I guess. I don't know if that's exactly the wording I want to go with, but, you know, they did a ridiculously good job with that.
Who else
and,
wants
like,
some?
I don't know, I'm just surprised. I think this is one of the first games I've ever heard of that only has an American or an English localization. Why didn't Granddad stop you from being sent to the kingdom when you grew up to prevent the attack? I think it's kind of one of those where he couldn't change it, even if he wanted to. Because we'd already experienced, you know, going to Carnelian. You know, I'd actually really love to play a JRPG like that at some point, where you do go back in time and you change it so that every time you go back in past and change something, it changes the future. And so the story rewrites itself, and you go from, you know, what the, you know, biggest major change was, or something like that. Because that would be cool. Very hard to do, though. I know there's a couple, like, Radiant Historia, and Chrono Crusade, Chrono Cross, that probably have stuff like that. But I've never heard that it's, like, truly, like, gets into the nitty-gritty of, like, really messing with time just to control the plot. Never grabbed the sparkly over here. I must have. Yeah, I don't see it this time around. Yeah, fixing everything you've previously done wrong. Yeah. Oh, I couldn't attack that one for whatever reason. Because I think that would be kind of an interesting if muddled JRPG. To the point where, like, you know, there's a very real possibility the final chapter would be literally you just doing the first, like, the first day, the first confrontation, running into, you know, just changing one thing right from the get-go that changes whatever. So kind of like Life is Strange. Maybe? I've actually never played Life is Strange. I had a bunch of friends that swore by it. I think Keith really enjoyed it. I know they've got Life is Strange 2 coming out soon. So I might, I don't know, sit down with Shell at some point and play through it. But yeah, like Omen Sight, but with JRPG mechanics. Yeah, I really enjoyed Omen Sight, but it was all about just defeating the great evil, and there was no sense of, like, trying to actually fix things. And I would have enjoyed, like, Omen Sight, but if you got to play, Yeah, except without being constrained to a time loop. Yeah, exactly. Like, if Omen Sight had been this, like, this... I'm not gonna call it an open world thing. But, one big level... And then... you kind of have control over the entire clock. You know, maybe it's like a 48-hour period or something like that. You know, keep it a little bit more focused so it doesn't become insane. And actually let you control time. Or just a JRPG where it's totally linear, but it gets this feeling of, like, time control powers so that you're constantly, like, looping through and changing things. And, you know, maybe there's a couple of different options here and there. You know, sometimes it's well, what happens if we kill this villain right off the bat? Oh, turns out he actually was, like, integral to this other plot arcing. By killing him, somebody else runs into problems or something like that. I don't know, there's a bunch of ways that could make it work. I don't know how. There's the character builder. Let's see, crit, dragon slash. Yeah, that's not that helpful. Keep doing boomerangs. Okay, so cost 7, cost 4. As boosts his accuracy. I'm just gonna keep him on boomerang duty for now, just because, we don't have any other, like, group hitting abilities. Okay, so we have a couple of things. Seeds of Agility. Seeds of Skill. I don't know how many of these I want to use on which character. It's always tempting to just use them all on the main character. I want to get Metal Slash, probably. Yeah, 2% crit rating. This is not exactly the most interesting talent tree I've ever seen. It's actually honestly kind of boring. Dark Cloud 2 has a bit of that time travel. There are parts where you do stuff in the past to make a path in the future. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people suggest Exoskeleton, really? Wow. I've heard a lot of people suggest Dark Cloud to me in,
who else wants some?
whenever I like talk about this stuff. Someday maybe I'll have the time to sit down and play it, but it seems unlikely. Maybe if THQ Nordic randomly picks up the Dark Cloud IP, no, that's not gonna happen. I don't think I've ever heard of a Western studio or a Western company or publisher picking up the license to a Japanese IP and then bringing it back. Huh.
Ha!
Yeah, that's a weird thing. The Western markets generally just keep to themselves, and then vice versa. Weird. I guess maybe it's copyright law is already dodgy enough. Trying to introduce was that a metal slime? No, that's not a metal slime. That's just a rock. I guess we still don't have Metal Slash yet. So it doesn't matter. But yeah, copyright laws are muddy enough. Trying to purchase an IP from America to Japan or vice versa would be kind of tough. Hello? Hey, Pots! Yeah, the only Western acquisitions of Japanese stuff has been in the television market, like Power Rangers and stuff. Except for they just got the publishing license. Though, if I remember right, that actually got BattleTech in trouble. That, was it the studio that made the BattleTech anime? Morales was forcing them to not make any games for a while or something stupid like that.
What the heck happened here? Who did this to them? Huh?
Because I know Saban, the person or publisher or whatever behind Power Rangers in the US, doesn't actually have the license to Power Rangers or even Sentai shows. Or like ownership. They just can publish it. And they were really hard on Chroma Squad for existing. Because it was a Sentai game. Even though they have nothing to do with each other. The threat of lawsuit was enough to, you know, get you know, the people that make Chroma Squad to back off. And I think actually, like, make a credit Saban, even though Saban had nothing to do with it. It was dumb. International copyright management is crazy complicated. I'm hoping we get to the point of globalization where stuff like that actually really does iron out. Who else? Because copyright, I don't know. I feel really bad for artists that just get their stuff, like, ripped off and sold wholesale in other countries. It's hard enough for us to go after, Vietnamese shirt thieves that are selling my shirt designs in the US. Because it's impossible to track them down, and all of the web hosts are like, you need to contact them directly. And it's like, no. No. They're hosting stolen goods on your service. Take them down. We had to get in contact with a German company and like argue with them over why they should take down my products, which were illegitimately hosted on their site, and it's hard enough. And there are some pretty hefty copyright treaties between the US and Europe. I don't know. It's dumb. I like that. I really like globalization, obviously. Yeah, I look forward to the day when, like, you know, a lot of copyright laws and human rights laws are just, like, universal. Stuff like the internet, too. I'd actually love it if, at some point, the world kind of got together and invented a language. It doesn't even have to be English. I would absolutely learn a new language if the whole world agreed upon it being the new universal language. Instead of, like, English being the universal one, or Spanish, or Chinese, or anything like that. Because I know, if I'm not mistaken, modern Korean, I'm gonna call it an artificial language. They effectively designed it, or at least the written language, to make it incredibly easy to learn. And I think that's the coolest shit ever, and I'd like... How rad would that be? They've tried that once, Wander. Yeah.
Easy.
I'm sure they tried that and failed. Probably, Esperanto. You know, I've heard of Esperanto. I just feel like with the internet, it's almost going to become a necessity, or otherwise we're just going to end up with, like, 3 internets. English, Chinese, and, like... No, probably just English and Chinese, eventually.
Nice!
Kind of depends on how the dice falls in the geopolitical landscape for the next couple of years. Hey, we get a new pet power. Cool. I don't remember Esperanto being particularly well supported, though. It was kind of like an experiment more than an actual, like... Yeah, it failed because no one really wanted it. And I feel like it would have to be something that people would actively, like, have to commit to. English, Chinese, and Russian. Yeah, I don't know about whether or not Russian internet would be strong enough to stand individually in the future. I don't know. I don't like to talk politics, but it always feels like Russia is one Putin death away from a collapse. Someday that man is going to die of old age, and it's either going to be real bad when it happens, or it's just going to, like, everything's just gonna kind of crumble. Because that country has way too centralized a power, and, like, that almost never ends well. That's what happened to when Yugoslavia, the Tito, the then dictator that everybody more or less loved, or at least a lot of people loved, when he went when he died. I don't think he got assassinated. I think he died of old age or some disease or something like that, and I don't really remember that well. effectively, Yugoslavia tore itself apart. I guess it would really depend on, like, the oligarchs and whether that they managed to hold things together. I don't know. Life is weird, history is weird, we're in the middle of it and I don't like it. I was kind of hoping, when I was growing up as a kid, you know, there was all these stories of all the bad things happening in the past, dictators, bad people, bad things. And then, I guess it's kind of relevant, because it's kind of sort of still 9/11. And then 9/11 rolled around and it was just like, oh shit, yeah, the world is actually real. You know, history hasn't just kind of stagnated. Bad things will still happen. The 90s were very nice for Americans. Mostly. There was still some bad stuff that went on. I guess I'm too young to remember the really bad things, but there was definitely a period of just like, yep, everything is boring and comfortable. Let's see. Russian will not be one. German is a ton more likely, though my guess would be English, Spanish, and Chinese. Yeah, purely by population. Oh, Indian. No. I don't know about Indian internet. Because there's too many dialects, in India. I don't know if you'd actually be able to have, a particularly cohesive, Indian-specific internet. Because, I mean, Chinese vastly make up the majority of the population of the world, from what I remember. They're just very localized. Whereas, like, English is a shared language across multiple countries and is mildly universalized just because of Europe and imperialism and stuff. I don't know. Weird topic to be talking about as I just plow through, monsters in this game. But I don't know. Got nothing better immediately to talk about. America is its share in creating dictators. Oh, America is such shit about, creating dictators. I rather like my country-ish, but, like, good lord, we need to keep out of people's business more. The amount of, like, political and world unrest that we caused because of the fear of communism was not okay. Half of the world's problems can be kind of attributed to things that we did, sort of. Like, I'm fairly certain America created what Iran currently is. Because, they were like... Iran was, kind of a mild paradise for a while. And then, I think we had a hand in it. And, like, I don't know. I get sad when I... Ooh, yes. 5 extra damage on that boomerang is gonna be good. Yeah, we did. Yeah, I thought so. That's such a shame. I'd like to hope that sort of thing stops in the future, but, I mean, who knows?